We are fresh off the Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi fight card. Let's get right into it, but before we do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow, hit that icon to get notified whenever I upload. Now let's kick off with the full fight card. Very good. There was a few fights hit and miss here and there. The first few fights were like, but as the card would go on, the fights would get better. Main card, this is what we're moving on to now. The main card, spectacular. Let's talk about why. With the first fight on the night being Trevin Giles versus Mike Malott. This was a good fight for Mike. Giles was waiting way too long though, in my opinion. He had very sloppy backhands. He would kind of palm them instead of throwing them. Like when he threw the overhands, he would palm them over. It wasn't like proper connections. So it was very awkward. But his jab, on point, very good. I felt like Mike threw a lot of unnecessary head kicks because they missed, but he threw so many and they just kept missing. So I felt like it was a very unnecessary thing to do, but maybe he was setting something up. Maybe that's something I didn't realize while watching it, which was a bit silly of me. But he made the fight his pace and he got the win. Marc-Andre versus Dustin Stoltzfus was up next. Stoltzfus almost got the submission in the first minute of round 1, but Marc defended very well. They then ended up getting back up on the feet. They started trading some shots and Stoltzfus landed a perfectly timed right hook right onto Marc Berriot's chin on the button and put him out cold. Very good fight, very good win for Dustin Stoltzfus. We move on to Ribeiro versus Machado. I felt this was a fun fight, but it kind of reminded me of Giles versus Malott. So I felt that Machado kind of had the game plan of Malott, while Ribeiro had the form of Giles, except in this one, Ribeiro kind of showed you what, if Giles did this, maybe he would have won. I felt like I felt like it was that fight again, except it was the opposite way round, and it was very entertaining. I felt that Machado had a very weak defense, but he had a very good start. Next up was Rose Namajunas versus Erin Blanchfield. I thought it was a good start from Rose. She won the first 2 rounds, but as the fight went on, Blanchfield started making it her fight, started figuring it out. The way that I thought that the fight went downhill for Rose was in round 3. Blanchfield got the takedown, and I felt like after that, Rose's demeanor kind of fell down. She kind of seemed a bit off. She kind of just looked a bit more gassed, a lot more tired, and Blanchfield just looked a lot fresh. I believe that towards the end of the fight, in round 3, towards the end of the fight, I believe she started feeling a lot of pressure and it kind of broke her down, and Blanchfield took advantage and won. And then for your main event, a sick main event by the way, very sick, Moreno versus Albazi. Brandon Moreno made that fight his fight. He took it to his pace. He did exactly what he needed to do. He took control and he broke Albazi down. That's all he did. He just broke him down piece by piece, round by round. There was so many times, there was a few times, but there was so many times where Amir Albazi would get countered or caught and he'd get hurt. He'd get very hurt, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, Moreno's about to finish him. He's about to end this fight. But one thing I'll give to Albazi, he had very good recovery from getting hurt. He got hurt and then came back. It was very, very good and enjoyable. Amir Albazi was also waiting too long. He was trying to counter Brandon Moreno and he just couldn't get the counters off. Moreno was just too quick in and out of range, landing his combination, getting back out. Albazi just didn't have time to think or set his game plan into action. But that was just my thoughts and my opinions. I thought it was a very good fight. My thoughts and my opinions, I thought it was a very good fight card, very enjoyable, and I do recommend rewatching some of it. That's just my thoughts and my opinions on the fight. What do you guys think? Did you watch the fights? Did you enjoy the fights? And I will catch you all in a bit. Take care and peace.